Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing? I'm playing some jams. I'm listening to music. Like, I have music playing in the background in my earphones while I talk. I want to have the music playing in the stream so that I can speak over it, but YouTube and its damn copyrights. I'm always fighting. You know what? I don't know if that stage picture was from 2015, Ferguson. That was an old, no, not 2015 Baltimore. I believe it was Freddie Gray. Sly's talking about a picture from the last stream where actually it was at the beginning of this stream. Let me put it up right now. How's everyone doing? How's everybody feeling? We have an episode of the podcast this Friday with Jessica Crispin. Really good. Yeah. It's not the old Weebay wire. It's not the old um it's not the Omar wire. Hey, what up? What up, man? 1-2. How you feeling? What's up, Khalid Saeed? What's going on? Flugene Debs. How you doing? Phil B, you said you think I'm muted? No, people are saying they can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Phil B says he can't hear me. I want to make sure if it's him or anybody else. Let me tell the family where we are, what's going on. But I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's doing fine. Hope you're all chilling out, staying out of trouble, social distancing. I played earlier on Instagram. I live on Instagram Live. I put up a press conference they had at the. Hold on a second. Let me turn off this music in the background. A press conference that they had at the 88th precinct, the one that was kind of bum rushed and taken over, and it was pretty sad. There was a whole lot of praying. They brought out every black person they could, like cops, a lot of religious people, and they got to pray on, made everyone kneel. Then after they kneel, they told people one thing that says, pray for our cops out there. And I was like, man, what an okie doke. Got everyone to kneel, and then when they're on the knees, say, yeah, pray for our policemen. And I was like, man, y'all think you're slick. Just drew that bad boy in there. Pray for our policemen. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But Instagram.com/champagne sharks, you can find it. What up, BL? How's it going? Hey, Sean Joseph. Oh, if someone's talking about they can't hear the music's only in my earphones. I have a little bit of background music. Yeah, respectability powwow. It was go to Instagram.com/champagne sharks and look on their Instagram TV. You'll see it. It wasn't. Don't expect too much out of it. It was just a lot of respectability politics. Not much to. I started realizing those trolls are probably coming from Twitter. Because that's two times when I had trolls. I want to put up. Hold on. Let me put it up in the family. Hold on. Today we're going to talk Cucktivists. Truly cucked activists. We're going to talk about some other stuff too. Okay, let me just let the family know that we're on here. Oof. George Floyd. That's always a good hashtag to put up in there. Yeah, man. There's a lot of weird misinformation going on about George Floyd. Some crazy stuff. I don't know what's true and what's not. But so much of it like doesn't really even matter. I don't know. Hey, Mario Lewis, how's it going? Full blown fanny muncher. ah, full blown fanny muncher. Got me saying that out loud. Yeah, how you doing, full blown fanny muncher? My nose is shiny as fuck. Action just donated $500 to snap your headset in half. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, I sound info, man. Get that mod action going on. Whew. Yeah, but should we get down to it? We should get down to it. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. I want to talk about some stuff that's been going on. We talked about this before, but I just want to bring it up again really quick. I don't know what is going on, but there's something called Divest Twitter or Divest YouTube, and it's just these black women. I used to think they were all 4chan trolls, like white guys pretending, but enough of them have come out with OnlyFans or have come out on YouTube for us to know that even if a good portion of them are white 4chaners, like there's been 4chan threads busted of people talking about let's go online and pretend. Like, that does exist, but even if that does exist to a point, there's enough of them that are real out there. And what they do is just go online all day long and bash black men. Or sometimes they bash Becky/Karens, but they never have any smoke for white men, really. Because they're still hoping to get chose. And I call them incense, so like for involuntarily single. But I want to show one in particular is this lady, Brittany Cooper. And we spoke, yeah, Doja Cat out here. Yeah, these are a bunch of academic and media Doja Cats, except whatever. But Brittany Cooper says, I'm thinking of Breonna Taylor and the comparative lack of outrage about this black woman EMT, an essential worker being killed by the cops in the middle of a pandemic. I'm thinking of why it is much easier to access our rage over George Floyd. So this was on May 28th. So the George Floyd thing is popping off, and the first thing she's talking about is Breonna Taylor. The killing of black women by the cops or the threatening of their lives by lying white women fits the lynching narrative hand in glove. Those brothers were targeted in a sense. So now she's bringing up the Central Park Amy Cooper lady, those brothers were targeted, hunted in a sense. Black women victims of state violence are seen as the unfortunate collateral damage on the other hand. And she keeps going on. And then, someone said this, oh, there must be a way to blame black men, but there's a couple things wrong with this narrative. Before we get to the things wrong with this narrative, right? And everyone's just kind of mostly made fun of her, right? Except for the same type of divest. We called them BMATs for black men are trash. A lot of black men are trash types. BMATs went in on it, but this other black woman posted something I thought was very important. She put, my problem with posts like these is when I search your handle and her name, I do not see that you have mentioned her at all prior to this point. Where were you a few weeks ago when Louisville organizers were circulating an open letter demanding justice, right? And if you look, Brittany Cooper, associate professor, authoress, whatever, has 103,000 followers. So she has, and she's on TV all the time. She could make Breonna Taylor go viral if she wanted. She could do it. She has 100,000 followers, and she has a lot of followers with big platforms too. It's not just like 1,000-follower platform. She's like a blue check with a bunch of other big platform blue checks. She could single-handedly make it go viral. But this is what was very interesting, right? right? Um, she showing this woman shows all her posts about um Breonna Taylor to show that she's been talking about Breonna Taylor for like a long time. The woman who's criticizing Brittany Cooper, but look at this. Somebody did the search. Brittany Cooper herself, Professor Crunk, only mentioned Breonna Taylor once, and the only time she mentioned Breonna Taylor was to complain about George Floyd. So these women, they don't really care. They don't really care about Breonna Taylor or these people herself. They only ever bring these people up when it's time to hate on black men. And what's interesting about these people is like their politics is just like high school. Like there's just this thing where they want to they're jealous of the cool of what they view as the cool kids. But the sick thing is to them the cool kids are people getting coverage for dying at the rate of 700 plus people a year. Like they're so like clout driven that they even if you're dying for the clout, literally, they're still jealous of you. But she doesn't care about Breonna Taylor. She just sees George Floyd, and I don't know what she gets out of it. At some level, I think she must feel. I mean, I don't know. I can't figure it out. I mean, she could be tweeting about Breonna Taylor nonstop herself if she really wanted to. She just doesn't. She just doesn't want to. She just has no interest in doing it. But something that I wanted to show you guys as well, right, is that on top of her being insincere, it's also a lie. You know, the mayor has been talking about Breonna Taylor. There have been protests about Breonna Taylor. A lot of people have been talking about Breonna Taylor. Like this whole thing, and it's not just women talking about her and men ignoring it. A lot of people have been talking about Breonna Taylor. Entertainment Tonight mentioned Breonna Taylor along with other people. Like this literally just happened 4 minutes ago. I did a search. Entertainment Tonight mentions George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and countless other black citizens. Entertainment Tonight gave a little shout out. But there's been a lot of stuff going on, and there's some other stuff. Enough people have come out for Breonna Taylor that this happened. That the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, right, had to urge nonviolence among protests. Like enough people were coming out to Breonna Taylor's protest that Breonna Taylor's sister started telling people to go home. So that's the other thing. It's not even that Brittany Cooper is a bandwagon jumper. She's not even telling a true. She's not even telling a true narrative. There have been plenty of protests for Breonna Taylor, but something that she's left out too is that Breonna Taylor wasn't caught on video. George Floyd was not only caught on video. George Taylor was not only caught on video, but it was a heinous video even by those snuff film standards, you know? So it's a very dishonest thing that she's, yeah. So he said it's Ed Buck syndrome again as well. Yeah, they don't care about the death of gay men by a serial killer either. But if Dave Chappelle makes a trans joke, they're all up in arms. And when a lot of people are making Dave Chappelle cancellation talk and and Kevin Hart cancellation talk, I was searching all their mentions for what they had to say about Ed Buck, and all of them had nothing, and it was not surprising. But check this out. If you look, this is protest for Breonna Taylor. Large protest moves through the streets of Louisville for Breonna Taylor, a black woman shot and killed by police that barged into her home. Now, let me ask you this. Are there only women there, or are there men too? Let's go back to the start. Did nobody show up? Are there no black men there? Is it just 5 black women on their own with no one else there? Like, what is the purpose of a Britney Cooper? You know? So just look at it. There's plenty of people there. And it's men, it's women, there's white people, there's all types of people. So these people are full of it. These people are totally full of it. And truth of the matter is, we have to start purging these people from Black society. We gotta save receipts on them. I'm thinking of even just making like a straight up wiki or some kind of page when someone's like doing fuckery or someone is concerned trolling. You just look them up and see like a database of sellouts or something. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous to see. And there's gonna be a lot of this stuff. We're gonna talk about how. I mean, I didn't feel that bad when I saw it because a lot of people called it out, and that feels good. A lot of people called it out. A lot of people are sick of it. It's not the kind of thing that you even have to worry about anymore, because it's becoming more and more. Let's see. I want to show some more. I want y'all to look at this, and they're still doing this to this day. Every single day, they keep talking about Breonna Taylor. But what's funny is every single one of them you see, when you go on Twitter, you search their names, and they never bring up Breonna Taylor except to complain about black men getting attention. So here's another one. Yeah, if anyone here is a member of the Champagne Sharks Discord, by all means, let them know. Tag everyone. Let them know we're in here. Go on Twitter. Share with people that were up in here. I want tell your followers. Let people know what we're talking about. But I want to show this. AJ Plus, Al Jazeera Plus. No, actually, that's not the one I'll talk about. This is the one I'll talk about. Charles Booker. Charles Booker is a community advocate in Kentucky, right? And following days of protests to honor Breonna Taylor. So you see what he's saying right here? There are multiple days, not one day and done. Days of protest for it's the other thing. They didn't ask for money for the Boyfriend's Defense Fund, but they don't do anything except just complain about straight black men, and they're just agent provocateurs. They're Cucktivists, and that's what I want to talk about today. Just people put themselves as activists, but they're just cucked by white attention, cucked by white power. They're just Cucktivists, and this is what I want to show some people. So this is Charles Booker from Kentucky, community activist, talking at a healing rally that happened days after. So this is not just one day, not the first day, but this is the crowds that still come up multiple days after. This is May 31st, just yesterday.
I'm state representative for the 43rd district, which we are standing in.
Now look at that crowd. Look at that crowd. And it's not just black women, it's not just black men. There's a ton of white people up in there. You know,
from the 43rd district, I represent you anyway.
There's a black man politician talking about it.
And yes, I am running for United States Senate to beat Mitch McConnell, but we'll talk about that later.
Now, what I want y'all to realize, like, even if you want to say, oh, this happened after Brittany Cooper's tweet, there were still protest pictures and videos at the time Brittany Cooper's tweet went up. And the other thing is, up until today, every day these divest BMAT monoracial Doja Cats are still added every single day. And that's the one weird difference that we've had from the first round of Black Lives Matter in 2014 and 2016 to now. It's just these weird agents of chaos that just someone said they're all women. The people with low haircuts are just trans men. No, that's those aren't white. Those are Louisiana Creole women. Yeah. It's a real mess. And like these people just this is what just bothers me with these people. They don't really care about queer people. They don't care about black women. If you're a queer person or a black woman, who is taking the side of straight black men and saying they're not trash, they will come in on you as hard as they come in the straight black men. And they even have jargon now. They call other black women who don't hate black men, they call them pick-mishas, like pick me with an isha at the end. Like they're weirdly edgelordy and racist. Like they're not just edgelords, like they're all edge with no point. All edges, no points. Is how I would describe them. Most edgelords are that. Just all edge, no point. They call them pick-mishas, they call them mammies, they call them mules, they call them mud sharks, which is an even weirder thing to call them. Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't think a lot of people, there's something, and Ken said this, I can't take credit for it. Ken said it. Ken said a lot of people on social media right now, if you gave him a box of like $10,000 or 1 million likes, they would take the likes. They a lot of people sell themselves out for cheap. Yeah, so I want to show some other stuff really fast. This woman right here came out and said, I'm gonna show it real quick. She came out here and she put up, people completely forgetting about Breonna Taylor's murder is quite on brand, and why I scream from the mountaintop about the erasure of black women. Even in death, we aren't seen. And the erasure just increases if you're a black woman that's queer, dark skinned, trans, disabled. And now hear the language. Remember when I was reading from Black Lives Matter website yesterday, how they try to bring up every single other thing under the sun? It's the All Lives Matter of black people. And I'm exhausted. That's the other thing. There was like, oh lordy, I'm exhausted. There was like this exhausted talk. What is she exhausted by is what I want to know. What has her so exhausted? Because we search her things, and I'll do it live. We search her things, and words by Uchechi, and we should think she's probably African, right? Put the words Breonna or hashtag Breonna Taylor, and this is the only result that you get. The only thing that she did to mention Breonna Taylor was the thing complaining about Breonna Taylor being invisible and black men getting all the attention. So she doesn't give a fuck about Breonna Taylor. And I did it live so you can see me do the search live, right? So it's not that different than you ever see when a white racist or alt-right type, when a black person dies, suddenly they'll bring up a white when a black person dies from the cops, they'll bring up a white person that died from the cops that they'd never talked about before, except when it came time to weaponize the dead white person against black people. Like, these people are like the white supremacists of black people, which is what's funny about them calling straight black men the white people of black people. Like, it's total projection. They're not only the white people of black people, like the real white people of black people. They're the white supremacists of black people. They're like the white 4chan of black people. And yeah, that's the other thing. I mentioned that Breonna Taylor's murder wasn't caught on camera. Sandra Bland's murder was caught on camera, and that got like a big outcry itself. And like I said, even by camera standards, George Floyd was extra heinous. Even by things on camera, you know. Oh, this girl's on the Grapevine. Oh, that says it all. I didn't know she was on the Grapevine. Oh, that says it all. The Grapevine is a show for all these social justice influencer millennials. It's a black online show for YouTube millennials. They have a lot of trash people on there. Makes a lot of sense now. Totally get it. One of the few good people they had on there was Saren Sensei, and she didn't last very long. Yeah. So multiple things. These people do not talk about this stuff. When they do talk about it, they only talk about it when a black guy is getting attention, and they just want to like they're working out some kind of personal problem throughout politics. Like they're working out some kind of high school issues or something, you know. What's interesting is one time, like last year, one of these types posted something about how when they were younger, the black guys, because of athletics and hip hop, were getting all the attention from the white kids in their school, while they weren't getting any attention. Then a whole bunch of them flooded in, complaining about the same thing. And then one person even put like a study saying, yeah, black guys end up doing better in white spaces than black girls, and a lot of it's due to like but what the study said was that it's due to negative stereotypes. Like they view them as like sexualized bucks. They view them as objects of lust, like for their swag. Like they view them as hip hop stereotypes. They view them as athletes. And the funny thing was, even the people who were acknowledging that, they were like, yeah. And the worst part is that, all that popularity, all that attention they were getting was just for negative reasons. Even if people were saying that, still sounded jealous, and that was the part that really was weird to me. Was like, you're saying that it wasn't real love, which I agree with. It wasn't real appreciation. It was just fetishization. It was stereotyping. It was racist love and all that. You're saying all that, yet at the same time, in the other breath, you're sounding jealous. And then when Slave Play came out, then it all made sense, because the people who were doing that were the kind of people that I would later call Slave Play Twitter, where I realized, wait, these people don't actually mind. They're so desperate for like white attention or white validation. They actually don't mind if they have to get it by being fetishized. Like they would rather have fake love from white people than real appreciation from black people. Yeah, they covered the white gaze, even if it's a lecherous white gaze. You know, this guy's willing to become famous by reducing slavery to a BDSM voyeur film, pornographic play for white liberals. You know, like these people do not care. They're slave play Twitter is really into that. And so like person after person, when it came up, it was all the same shit. And like I said, I called people Cucktivists. I didn't realize that this woman was on the Grapevine, but it totally makes sense, you know. And these people are ridiculous. But let's talk about some other stuff. Did y'all see this? Like the last couple of shows, I've been like having like a set itinerary. Like yesterday, I had a whole order, and I was laying stuff out and building an argument and going back into the past and building up toward today. Today, I'm not going to do that. Today, I'm just going to bring up a bunch of sad things I saw, right? And there's going to be no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to dump everything out there and chat with the family. But well, these people have an arrested development. Like they're all into YA novels and comic books, and we're social justice blurs. Like these people are stuck. They're arguing with alt-right chuds about Captain Marvel and Black Panther all day. Like these people are arrested development, so it makes sense. And they argue like they have arrested development, so it makes sense that they're still hung up on high school. They've never developed past that. They argue like they're in high school. It is what it is. Um, I want y'all to look at this. Um, this is like so lame. This is so lame, but I can't blame this on white people. Let me show some other stuff, right? These people after a riot, some regular citizens. Thank goodness I don't think I saw any black people among them, but there is some stuff I want to show that's not much better. Came out and de-vandalized a Chase Bank. Not even like a small mom and pop business. These people are such cucks to capital now. Like, so the activists are cucks, and even the anti-activists are cucks themselves. Like, they came out to deface defacement of Chase Bank. Like, a lot of these people would not slow down or break stride for a homeless person laid out on the sidewalk. Probably, we probably step right over them, but no, not the Chase Bank. A lot of people probably did not even give a damn about George Floyd getting kneeled on, but this thing, Chase fucking Bank. Because God forbid the aesthetics for 5 seconds in your neighborhood don't look good, and you lose that property value for a day. Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. A lot of these blurs, they only hop on the blur thing because, like, this is what these people do. They're always trying to put their finger in the air and see which way the wind's blowing, or put their finger in the water to check the temperature. They're always looking for something to ride to the top. So, like, when superhero culture was rising to the top and was a great way to break into the mainstream, like a lot of screenwriters and stuff like that were starting in comics and then using comics to break into mainstream writing, or they were able to break into superhero movies. Like they were able to do superhero movies or TV production. Like, becoming a blur ended up becoming a good hustle to break into writing. You can break into legitimate writing by becoming a blurred influencer. So a lot of people became blurs, and all of them, like, this is when Clarkeisha Kent, she writes articles, and as someone who's like read comic books since I was a child, I don't really read the new ones anymore. Like, I'll still read old stuff sometimes, but I haven't read new comics in like a long time because it's really bad stuff. It's bad social justice influencer stuff. Now it's really bad. But when I read into articles, like around the time of Black Panther, they all had explainer articles on like The Root and Vox and all this stuff. And these blurs came in talking about Black Panther, and it was just all off the Wikipedia page. They're totally like that. It's pretty terrible. Oh, word? Did you? Did she talk college? Did she talk comics a lot there? Oh, screenwriting classes. Yeah. I mean, I can believe it. I can believe it. Yeah. I don't think the Bloods even really want to be accepting geek culture. I don't think they really are even geeks. I think they want to use the geek culture to platform into other stuff. They just want to become regular writers, but they just want to figure out an avenue that's going to get them there. And I think they figure out like doing it through superhero stuff is less rigorous. It's like taking a class for easy A's, taking a let's see. Now I'm going to show something else. This is another example of Cucktivism. This is pretty bad. I don't know if they're doing something from the show The Old Way. I tried to watch the show The Old Way, and this show was so bad I could not fuck with it. It was not for me. But this show The Old Way had this scene, and I think these people might have been trying to do something from that. Look at this. This is really cringe. Another example of Cucktivism. They put it big so you can see it. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, first off, who still crumps? Like, at least do something modern, man. Like do a Millie Rock or something. Like Homeboy showed up and just straight up crumped. Cucktivism. There's a lot of cucktivism. It's crazy. And we're gonna go through more stuff, man. This is not. I would rather have less people show up to the protest. Like these are the people who are mad and making the narrative of, hey, it's white anarchists, which white anarchists is code for Bernie Bros. It's like white anarchists who are hijacking the stuff from us. You know, we're trying to show our pain, we're trying to feel like, see, these people are hoping to go viral. They're hoping to be the next Devontae Hart. You know, the kid who gave the hug to the cop. Like, they're showing up to the protest to clout chase, and you can't really clout chase at a riot. You can't really clout chase at. So they want this, you know, yeah, exactly. They want this. They want this stomp the yard bullshit to get them viral. They want to do hugs to go viral, and if these protests turn to riots, then they can't do that there, and they don't want to be associated with a riot because a black person took part of a riot or a protest that turned to looting. You're not going to clout with white people, you know, like they want to know that you were at one of the good riots, you know. They want to you can't use the quote unquote bad riots to get clout. Yeah. So they want to rock around a bullhorn. They want to lead a prayer circle. They want to do a soul train line, and it's just real cuck behavior. That's why I've been calling them Cucktivists, and we're gonna go through more of them because there's a lot. There's a lot. Here's another one. Look at this one. This is another bad one, and a lot of white liberals were loving this. A lot of Black Lives Matter type people were loving this one. These people went to the fucking protest to hug the cops and then cheer Like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. What? Oh, let me play a little more. I just want to let that let's sink in for a second, but let's play a little more of that. I took a break just to. Now she's crying. What did you show up for? Look at people cheering. This white girl with blonde hair in the back is crying. This big ass 6 foot tall black guy is out here, looking like a Tumblr shipper. Like, what the hell did he show up for? What is it? Is this a meet cute? Like a protester meet cute? Like, this is some bullshit. Like what the fuck is this? Like, where are we producing these people? I don't get it. I don't understand it. But it's cringe. All of it is cringe. And like, how did we already forget Devontae Hart? You remember Devontae Hart, the little boy that was went viral for hugging a cop at a protest back in the day, and then it turned out he was actually being abused by his white adopted parents, and it was all, yeah. I mean, the desperation for white attention, but also someone tweeted this to me. The cathartic release on finally receiving it are very telling. Like to them, this protest isn't about getting justice. It's about being reassured that white mommy and white daddy still love you. That's what they're coming to these things for. They're not coming there to fight for black people. They want to make they want to make sure that there's still good white people out there and that they're still loved. It's gross to me. I think it's and then this was. I'm gonna put up some more stuff. I'm not gonna dwell on any of it too long. But give me a second. This person put up something today. As a black woman, I'm more likely to die at the hands of a black man than a cop. So I won't be protesting them. I need them on my side, saying she needs the cops on her side. Now, I found that interesting because it reminded me of something else. It reminded me of, we talked yesterday about Brittany Farrell. We talked about how the craziest things that she was saying when it came to Darren Seals, the activist who was killed. Brittany Farrell was the one who said all this crazy stuff about black men. She was one of the people, along with Deray, who hijacked the Ferguson protest and made herself the face of it over the local activists, then got herself a theatrical release documentary where she was the focus of it, while 6 of the remaining activists, mostly black men, one black woman and her son, just got killed and ignored. But compared to what she said, I'm more likely to die at the hands of a black man than a cop, so I won't be protesting them. I won't be protesting the cop. She's saying she's not going to protest the cops because black men are scarier to her than the cops are. Compare that to what Brittany Farrell, who was part of the original Black Lives Matter waves in Ferguson, who got the protest movie made about her, where she's made the main character. She goes, Darren Seals is a prime example of why I think black men are the utmost of trash. He is so jealous, there's that much jealousy is dangerous. And if I read it, I'm way more terrified of my own people. This is a black activist who gets a movie made about her for being part of Black Lives Matter and being an activist. I am way more terrified of my own people than these racist ass police. And if I really quit movement work, that will be why. I'm not being killed by the hands of a black man. Nope. So I just want to make it clear, like, these people aren't some just weird anomalies. Like this stuff is being parroted even from the leadership of Black Lives Matter level, you know. So I don't understand what these people are. I don't understand what their motivation is, where they're coming from. But the one thing that I do like is that back in the days in 2014, they were way more subtle about this stuff and duplicitous. Now they're going full mask off. I like that. But the other thing is, I think they have to because too many people have the receipts now. Too many people are sick of them. Too many people are ready to drag them. You know, so it's like they might as well go full mask off because the jig is basically up. Um, so yeah, again, it's just more cucktivism, more cucktivism. It's we're gonna keep it moving at a pretty quick clip, so you can see some other stuff. And that girl, I believe she had an OnlyFans. So people were thinking that she was a her kind of white troll or whatever, but she had an OnlyFans with a picture on it. And so a lot of people are real people. I don't know what their problem is. You know, I think there's like a incel energy that they have. There's some kind of personal gripe that they're working out. So this is her again, which again, not that different than what Brittany Farrell was saying. It's a Brittany Farrell has to go back and forth. Brittany Farrell will say that, but then next year she'll be in LA Times getting covered by one of her friends and the subject of a protest movie, you know. So at least this girl doesn't even play. She doesn't go back and forth. Someone says, yeah, I don't understand what this even means. But this is another guy, cognoscenti of consciousness. The killing of Black women by the cops never inspire riots and protests anywhere near the scale. Remember that when those dumbass Black men are the only ones not loved unconditionally posts pop back up in a month, you know. And then Chrissy, who's very popular on YouTube, said the problem with seeing every victimized Black man as your son and Princess Warrior propaganda. So she's on YouTube and she's always talking about why you shouldn't care about these Black men. Like you have to kind of divest from the Black community. She has a huge following. I got trolled by someone that was talking like kind of weird. And then one day this is on YouTube. In one of the comments of one of the old videos, I got trolled by someone that was kind of saying all this stuff that people only care about Doja Cat because she doesn't date Black men. And then if she was just stuck to dissing Black women, nobody would care. And we had to divest from Black men or whatever. And then a couple of days later, I saw a video by this lady, Chrissy, and she had all those talking points. And I realized, oh, wow, she has a lot of followers who are just out there using her talking points. It made a lot of sense. But yeah, she's very, very popular. But we're gonna keep it moving. Going to keep it moving. I want to show some more Cucktivists. Keep making our way through the list. This went pretty viral today. 195,000 likes, 63,000 retweets. At some point, we will. At some point, we'll talk about Jason Whitlock getting fired, but not going to say too much about it because it's still kind of fresh. By the way, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Share this with people. Let people know. This happened today. Some protesters, this is by my house, made me pissed. They should have hit these people upside their head. Some protesters in Brooklyn calling to loot the Target, but organizers are rushing in front of the store to stop them, keep things nonviolent. Number one, first thing I'm going to say, who says that these are organizers? And this is what I mean by that. I'm in Brooklyn. I've attended some of these things. I have no idea who the organizers are when I show up, unless somebody just calls themselves that. These, I mean, I'm sure there is kind of loosely an organizer where people are on Twitter like saying we're gonna be here, but to me this is more like flash mobs. A lot of people are calling themselves organizers, the clueless white people, or just saying all types of stuff. Like, these people are not organizers. Like, I hate that the media just tries to make these people into like the leaders of black people or the managers. Like there's a certain type of black person that shows up to these protests and they show up and they do things for clout because they want to be Black Lives Matter 2.0. They're hoping to get on camera. They're hoping to get talked to. They're hoping to get like a bunch of followers or a viral moment. And they're camera chasers, they're clout chasers, and then people will be talking about them. And white people designate them organizers just on account of these are the people that we like the most, you know? And that's how Deray became an organizer. He was one that the white people liked the most. It wasn't that he actually organized anything. He just showed up and he was the one that chased the cameras the most while everyone else was actually protesting. And he's the one that was best socialized to make white people comfortable and talk to white people. He grew up went to school with white people, and that's what he was doing. And he was there to diffuse the energy. And that's what all these cucktivists are doing. Like, they're trying to diffuse and derail the energy for white approval and biscuits. Like, the hope is if I get on camera, if I get seen diffusing the energy, I might get rewarded, you know, and my job will be to take the revolutionary impulse and the revolutionary fervor out of all these things. So, yeah, Deray, when I first discovered Deray, I was trying to get some recall movement popping in Ferguson, and I was in New York, and I kept seeing this guy because he's being promoted. So my friend and I reached out to him and said, "Since you're on the ground, it only takes 2,000 signatures to get the mayor recalled. It's a very easy thing." We looked up the statutes, and we were like, "I don't know who you are, dude, but since you're down there on the ground, you're there every day. Just get the 2,000 signatures. We can get this guy recalled. It's really easy. 2,000 is like nothing." And then he was like, "Oh, this is interesting. I'll have to read it." And he just kept blowing me off. And me and my friend were like, "What's up with this guy? Did you reach out to him?" And she was like, "I reached out to him too. Nothing happened." So I said, "Let me look up some more stuff about this guy. This is very weird." So then I found him and Netta. I looked them up, and they said, "Hey, we have these weekly or daily soapboxes or whatever, to help people. It's like a soapbox thing to help people get through the protest." So I downloaded one and I listened, and the whole thing was about how to be a good ally. And it was like, make sure to listen, make sure to hear people, make sure to stand in the back, support with your presence, but don't try to take leadership positions. Basically saying like, make sure that we get the clout and all this stuff. And then this is the beginning of Ferguson, and I told my homegirl, Henrietta Snacks on Twitter, I said, "This is really weird. The whole thing's for white people. The whole thing is talking about white people. This is I came on to him too hard. I don't think I'll scare him off, but that's just me. But yeah, they're trying to desperately remove the teeth from this movement. Yeah. So he blew both of us off. It was me and a woman. So if it was me coming on too hard, then she should have gotten through. But then like the next day, Netta tweeted talking about a lot of niggas out there thinking recalls and voting are the solution. Recalls are whack. And we're like, what? Like, why would you actually actively tweet? It's better if you're not doing anything. Why would you actively like shit on recall movements? And we got into a big argument with them. And like why are you on earth? And I think they kind of realized, no, if this thing takes off, it's gonna make us. That's not what we want. That's gonna have too much teeth to it. We're not gonna win favor if we're the people who get white politicians taken down. And they ended up leaving and finishing in Ferguson by cutting deals for themselves for TFA. This is what they ended up doing. Two of them, Deray and Brittany Pacchietti, they both work for TFA. Two of the protest jackers, they both got a deal cut for TFA in Ferguson before they left, and they got Brittany Packyetti a position with the city government. So it's like if they were to just get people taken out of office, then the powers that be wouldn't play ball with them or whatever. It was meant to be a shakedown. You don't If you're gonna try to hold something for ransom, or you're gonna try to extort somebody, you don't go there and kill them. You can't lead off with your most dangerous weapon. So the supposed story was that Deray was so incensed. He had a 6-figure job with TFA. He was so incensed by what was happening with in Ferguson. He just quit his job overnight and just walked down to Ferguson and just placed himself down there. Some bullshit story like that. And it's like, okay, so you were so incensed, you just dropped your job on a whim. You leave your job in your 6-figure salary to just go and um, start processing, like. And if that's true, then that's nice. But then somehow you end up negotiating for TFA to get a contract in Ferguson. Like that's just weird. The job that you had to leave because you were so in need to get social justice. The end game is that you get them a plush contract and get them like press. So I think he was a plant. I don't think he really it was about leaving the job. But then this is what happened to them after this was all done. They got something called the Peter Jennings Award by TFA. And the Peter Jennings Award, I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. It's on TFA's website. I'm gonna put it up here real quick.
Because we care deeply about kids, and I'm here not just because I care deeply about education, but because I care deeply about justice.
With teaching, I was so close to kids, right, who deserved a better world than they got. And I committed in that moment in the classroom that I would do my part to make sure that they grew up with everything that they deserved. And this is an extension of that fight. In August, we were out there and we were fighting back against a police force and a system that was
So basically, they won an award from TFA for their work in Ferguson, and this is the job that he supposedly dropped on a dime, 6-figure job.
Literally fighting us first, right? That it killed somebody, and we were out there saying no more.
So again, Ferguson was all about him. It wasn't about Darren Seals. It wasn't about all those other people, including the people who ran him out when he came back to Ferguson. He did such a good job that the actual black people from Ferguson ran him out when he actually came back to do his book tour there.
Became really clear that managing the information that was being disseminated would also be an important part of the win. So I created the newsletter so that we.
But do you see how he makes himself the face of this thing? We had nothing to do with it, and the people there hate him, and the white people just kind of go with it. But they created a newsletter. The people on the ground didn't want a newsletter. They didn't care about a newsletter. They can't eat a newsletter. The newsletter didn't give them any rights. It didn't do anything. The newsletter was just you being an opportunist.
That we could have a consistent source of what the news was as we went. And that's where we, the protesters, came from. We have a one-stop shop for most of the resources that protesters need to then empower them to continue doing the great work that they're doing.
Backing the truth up with statistical information, backing up the truth with people's humanity and their stories, and making sure that we amplify those, and also making
this
sure
is so
that
narcissistic.
The truth
but this video
what's happening
is in relationship to an award they won from TFA for
the work
this.
that is happening in the policy realm is really what our work has been about. So Deray and I stay certainly linked arm in arm, but as he is working on technology infrastructure and new media and social media, make sure that I can be a bridge between the movement and the policy work that needs to be done. it's amazing to be a part of this.
Who are these
protest
people?
family.
None of these
It's
people are the people I showed
amazing to,
you the past 2 days
be
for
led
Ferguson.
by young people.
None of these
It's
people. Who are
amazing
these
to have
people?
had the kind of opportunities.
Now
to
they're
speak
both
to
getting to sit with
world leaders
Obama
that
because
we
of
have
this.
to make sure
This
that
work
people
got them
don't
to sit with
forget
Obama.
that Black life
While
matters
6
and
people
that
from
our
Ferguson died,
dignity and our
the actual
humanity
real
is
activists, the ones who've been
non-negotiable.
shouting that these people, TFA is Teach for America. It's a charter school movement. They work with charter schools. They came down there. They came down there and did charter. They came down there. Both of them were with TFA, Teach for America, charter school movements that takes people from the Ivy Leagues and like these private colleges, a lot of white people, and get them into the inner city, displacing like Black teachers and community teachers. And you spend a year or two doing this charter school teaching with the Black kids using their program, and then you end up using it to make connections and go into other stuff. And a lot of like public school advocates and Black teacher organizations and community organizations really hate them. It's just a bunch of Ivy League interlopers and stuff like that. Mostly white, and that's where they came from. They didn't come from the community of. They come from the community of Ferguson. They just pop in there as TFA people, and then like their final win was getting a contract for TFA, right? So just want to put something really quick. So after it was all said and done, yeah, it has a huge turnover because it's a stepping stone. It's just something that you do to do something else. There's a lot of Black Agenda Report did a great article. This is by Drew Franklin. Did a great article on Deray and TFA. But this is what happened. Educators who turn activists win Jennings Award. Teach for America announced today at its annual educators conference in Jacksonville that Brittany Packnett, a Washington, D.C. area TFA official, and Deray McKesson, a former educator in New York, won the group's Peter Jennings Award for Civil Leadership. Established in 2007, the award, named for the late ABC News anchor, annually honors a TFA alumni for contributing to systemic change on a broad scale. Brittany is executive director of TFA's St. Louis Corps, worked with parents and educators to form a substitute school at the Ferguson Public Library staffed by more than 50 TFA alumni, while schools in Ferguson, Missouri were closed during the unrest after a fatal police shooting of an unarmed man. So what she did is the schools were closed during the unrest, and she swooped in and set up a substitute TFA school and got TFA a foothold there. And they brought in 50 TFA alumni to those schools and gave TFA a foothold there. And eventually, when the final thing that she ended up negotiating with the city for was a lot more stuff for TFA. That's why I think they gave them an award after this happened. And then Brittany served on the Presidential Task Force on 21st Century Policing and on Missouri Governor's Jay Nixon's Ferguson's Commission, because that's one of the other things that she negotiated for and got after, at the end of the protest, after the acquittal, because, they did nothing. They put no pressure on anybody. They didn't do a recall. Like, you can't see why they can't do a recall. If they did the recall that we were asking them to do, then these people would want to punish them. They wouldn't want to give them this stuff. They're there to do stuff for TFA and get stuff done. So, whew. Yeah. Now, isn't this crazy, right? Like, I'm just a dude in Brooklyn with an internet connection. Like, why are your favorite journalists with big newsrooms and stuff not exposing this stuff? It's a real joke. Everything's a joke because the people who cover the Black beat on these places are just like tokens who come from the same place that these people come from. They're all friends, and they all are working to serve white liberal interests, and they all cover for each other and promote each other. It's Michelle Rhee and TFA hit DC with a 1-2 punch. Hurt a lot of Black communities here. Yeah, TFA does some nasty stuff, and they are and they don't work with local community black teachers. They bring in their own, and it's just a bunch of Ivy League kids who, most of them white, who have no connection to the communities, and also have a lot of messed up ideas about the community. And something else too is, and this is important, and this is important. There's cash that goes with that Peter Jennings Award. They didn't just get the prestige of the award. Look, it says McKesson's use of social media. McKesson's use of social media provided Ferguson citizens with a popular viral voice. So this saying like he helped them so much, even though all the people in Ferguson, if you talk to them on social media, they all fucking hate him to this day. And he got ran out of 2 events in Ferguson. He tried to come back. A place he never went back to since he blew up. He only went back to like do a symbolic launch of his book tour there, and immediately got ran out twice. But these people are saying that, like, you would think Ferguson people loved him. Listen to this. McKesson's use of social media provided Ferguson citizens with a popular viral voice. Wow, thank you. He gave us virality, no justice. He gave us a viral voice that never mentioned us again once the camera moved to another city. His Twitter following grew to more than 175,000 followers. Like that's his accomplishment, getting 6-figure followers, and he got it off the back of these dead people and these exploited people who actually were the ones who started the movement. He didn't organize or start anything. One of them actually smacked him in the face and drove him away and said, "Don't come around here anymore." And he stopped. And at that point, he stopped messing with the local activists and just spent all his time jumping in front of cameras. McKesson has been a senior director of human capital. How neoliberal does that sound? It's worse than human resources. Human capital. That's basically what they call employees. He was a director of hiring and firing people, and he's supposedly brutal with it from people who worked with him for Minneapolis public schools, but left to pursue activism. He was sent as a plant to help TFA and do other things, and to take a lot of the sting and the teeth out of the movement. That's what he does. He goes to movements and takes the teeth out of them, and that's what a lot of these other people are doing. That are doing the prayer circles and stuff. But people are done with that. The word is out about them, and these people can't stop the people from rioting. But we're gonna get to that. And so he was most recently active in Charleston following the tragedy at Emmanuel African Episcopal Church. Yeah, he was there because he chases the clout, and he jumps in front of. I'm gonna show y'all another interesting video. This is an interesting video. This is a couple of years ago, but I want to show this one. This one is really interesting. Actually, you know what? I'm actually not going to show that video. I think it's gone. It was something I just thought about. But the last thing I want to say is that video, that award that they won, I can't find how much it was, but it was a good amount of money. It was not inconsequential amount of money. Let's see if we could find it. If anybody can find you what amount they won for does anyone know how much they won for that? Oh yeah, this is true. Charlie Peach wrote about this. Deray was on the White House visitor register before Ferguson. But the problem was it was right-wing media that found it. So that was a problem. The liberal media are a bunch of shills, and the people assigned to the beat of this stuff are all just blue check blurs who are these people's friend, and they have the Mutual Admiration Society, so they're not covering it. And unfortunately, the right-wing publications actually end up doing these publications, but nobody reads them on the left, so it ends up getting lost. But yeah, Charlie Peach is very fair and bipartisan. She was talking about it, but it's true. He was in the White House register several times, which is another thing to make people think he was a plant. Like, how could somebody who was just a TFA official in charge of human capital, why is he visiting the White House several times? You know, and that's why basically. That's basically why. But I'm gonna find some more stuff real quick. Comment, like, subscribe, share, let people know what we're doing, what we're up to. I'm going to try one more time to find the video that I couldn't find. See if I can find it. This is the video. This is the video that I'm looking for. The person is not active anymore, so I cannot find. I can't find the video. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is it. This is it. Check this out. I want to give you an example. This happened years ago. This happened around the time of the original Black Lives Matter. I want y'all to take a look at this. This happened in Chicago. I want to show you an example of what these people kind of do, right? There was an protest going on, and it was like real dudes from the street doing a protest, and then these types just popped up, right? And check this out. It's a very interesting video. Now, here's a problem. I think these people might be a right-wing site, and that's the thing. Like a lot of times, like I'm not 100% sure, but I think they might be Rebel Pundit. I'm not sure what they are. If anyone can Google what they are, maybe they're not. But anyway, peep this and check it.
That's been out here for the longest have been keeping our community back because they're not community driven. They're driven by forces that allow our community to be held back as a people.
So this is a protest called Black Friday Chicago from November 2015. Now watch as the community protests are coming, and then you have all these kind of black weirdo Afropunk people just rushing in.
The little kids from the University of Chicago are trying to take over the movement.
We don't know right now who those individuals are that are within this movement. There could be operatives of the Emmanuel administration.
Back your camera up.
We still have a freedom not to be filmed. The Black Lives Matter people. Yeah, if you know we ain't letting them fly their flags or nothing, they ain't getting in front of Chicago. Get their ass.
Not you heard it said it's those damn Black Lives Matter people.
Yeah, if you know we ain't letting them fly their flags or nothing, they ain't getting in front of Chicago. Get their ass.
Not saying we're not letting them fly their flags. Like what's happening is they're trying to fly their Black Lives Matter flags and stuff like that. And they're keeping them from flying their flags because they're trying to make their flags more visible than the other people who are there, so that they'll get credit for what's happening on the ground.
Oh, man, see what I'm trying to tell you, this movement that's been keeping us from being hired for the longest. Jesse Jackson.
It's better for the peoples on the ground to control their own community because they there, they live in there, they know about it. The peoples upstairs don't know anything about this.
So if you look, just looking at these people, you can tell them apart from the people from the community. They're just a bunch of Afro-punky looking college kids who probably tweet on Twitter all day like about how much they hate black men, like the exact ones that they're both infiltrating and the one that they're supposedly protesting for. And it's important to see that it's also black women there who are sick of these people. Like, if you look in the crowd, you see black women up there in the mix, that like this one here from the community, and the black woman who was speaking earlier that was like, who the fuck are these people?
The little kids from the University of Chicago are trying to take over the movement. We're not going to allow that to happen.
And if you see them in the crowd, they all have that look that you expect. They have that Brittany Cooper look. Like, take a look. They all have that. They all have that Netta Brittany Cooper Deray type of look to them. Septum rings, natural hair.
We're not doing interviews.
We're not doing interviews. You know, white allies with them.
Sir, come here. Sir, I can do whatever I want. We still have the freedom not to be filmed. We still have. I'm not.
Lords.
I can stand in front of Look, I can stand in front of the camera, so I got to. I'm not touching you, sir. Look. All right, that's fine. I'll stand right here, right in front of the camera.
Yeah, so I will bet you though that if there was coverage of that event, I will bet you that they interviewed those kids and not the other ones, and it got covered as a Black Lives Matter event. I guarantee you. And what I'm trying to say is, like, at all those events, that happens. At almost all of them, it was happening on the ground at Ferguson, it was happening on the ground at all the other stuff. But these guys jump in front of the cameras and kind of strong arm or block the other people out the way. And plus, the media prefers to talk to them. You know, they make them more comfortable, and they actually like how toothless they are. They know what they're doing. They're not. And yeah, the source was probably right wing. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. But I mean, to me, the fact that I don't think they hired and planted all these people and faked that argument or whatever. I think sometimes right-wing people can be right just because they know that the liberals don't want to talk about something. They're willing to talk about it. Like, they're right for the wrong reasons. They're not right because they care about the movement. They're racist and they're happy that the movement is going down. They just like kind of trolling and making fun of liberals and making fun of these Black Lives Matter types. Like when like some of the best commentary, unfortunately, about Black Lives Matter criticism has been Ann Coulter, because she's the only one who'll be given a platform, a big platform to talk about them. But she's not doing it because she cares about Black people or whatever. So, but it doesn't make her wrong. Sadly, it doesn't make her wrong. She's still right. But anyway, this is the other. So, like, I mean, we already established that all this stuff is co-opted, but I just wanted to show when y'all type like this, I have no idea what y'all talking about. Because you just say, like, please type with a little more context, because I get a lag. I don't get you guys. I'm sorry, you guys get me in a lag. Let's see. Wait, unless it's for the other people in the room, in which case, you know, carry on. But oh yeah, Ann Coulter, yeah. She called. She said someone was told her about Black Lives Matter as like a black movement, and Coulter's like, no, she's not. It's not a black movement. It's a queer movement masquerading as a black movement, and everyone got mad at her. But a lot of Black people like us were like, fuck, she's kind of right. I don't want to say it, but anyway, check this out. Some protesters in Brooklyn calling to loot the Target, but organizers, and again, these people are not organizers. These people are just people who hopped in front of the camera. The same way those people in the Chicago thing. But like I said, I don't think any of these people are organizers, because I've been to a couple of these things. I've never seen anybody leading anything, really. You know, the most that somebody probably did was call when it was going to start. But everyone's kind of there as their own entity, right? But look at this. And somebody who watched this, who was at one of the protests, told me that one of these people, they saw them trying to get a cop to kneel or get a cop to hug them. You know, they were like, "Oh, I saw this asshole at earlier in the day, and he was trying to get everyone to hug a cop or get a cop to kneel." So basically, this guy is one of these opportunists. But peep it, they're trying to get to the Target and like loot it. And look at this. Now, look at this. Do you see the black guy shaking the spray can? Because so I want you to look. There's a ton of black people. It's a black person here, with a spray can, ready to shut things off. Another black person there. So to make it clear, they're not just keeping out white people, and this is going to be important later. These fucking cucktivists, these cucked activists are showing up to protect fucking Target. And Target themselves even gave a statement like, we don't care. Justice is more important. Like, even Target said, fuck it, we'll take the loss. I don't know if y'all know this. Target gave a statement after the first one got looted in Minneapolis, where even they're saying, we have insurance, we're covered. Like, some things are more important in stores, but these types. Yo, look at Fanny Kravitz here. This fucking fake Lenny Kravitz with his 2C hair showing up and his chest out. Dude's got a fucking Punisher shirt with a skull on it and soft as baby shit. Like, you're like, yo, this is not what Deray fought for. This is not, they still want it to be the old way, Now, I've seen more white people fighting to stop the rioting or looting than the see, there was a white guy at the end, but most of the people there were like black, right? So y'all see that? Now, of course, one of them finds the camera later on, and look at nonsense he's talking.
The individuals that wanted to break an entry.
So look at this dude, like Fanny Kravitz here is rushing in front of the camera. He's got like his hippie neckwear or whatever. Can't wait to find a camera to talk, and they probably cannot wait to. I mean, the shit is called Target. It's called Target. That shit is meant to be a Target. It's got a bullseye in the front of it. Fuck that. Like they're basically begging for it, But yeah, Fanny Kravitz is here, and he's about to drop some 2C hair, tinfoil knowledge right here.
Holding back the protesters at the Target. Why did you do that?
The reason why I hope.
And of course, the cameras can't wait to meet him because this is what they do. They look for people like this. They promote people like this. This is what they did with Deray. This is why Deray was sent there, and this is why cameras gravitated toward him because he's throwing white ally seminars and encouraging peace and and doing all this stuff that's not actually giving consequences. And the same way like I got tricked into sending him the recall plans, and he like diverts them into something else, make sure that it gets intercepted, because he was being broadcast as the face of it. I think he's the guy I have to reach out to. So he's basically attracting a lot of attention, and he's able to field it and diffuse it. I wasn't able to find out who the real people at the head of it were until it was all over, and that's when I discovered Darren Seals after it was all over.
I hold people back from Target is because the individuals that wanted to break an entry into Target in the first place were undercover detectives.
He has no proof of this. I want to make sure this is clear. He has no proof these people are undercover detectives. He's just making this stuff up. Now, why is he making it? Someone said Punisher was a Blue Lives Matter logo. Yeah, that's true. Cops love Punisher. Punisher was a cop. He doesn't know this, but one of the popular things these people say is that, these are white Antifa people, these are white undercover cops or whatever. Now, I'm gonna say something that's might be messed up, but I'm gonna say this. Even if in the mix there are cops blowing stuff up, if the stuff gets blown up, people are gonna notice consequences for fucking with black people. So what part of the consequences is gonna be going forward. I mean, and this is, I don't believe the narrative, but I'm saying let's take the worst case narrative to heart. If you kill black people, shit's gonna get blown up, even if it's by other cops trying to do agent provocateur shit. So that becomes another thing. You know, at the end of the day, it's still getting messed up. So whew, I don't know, but yeah, I think this is totally. Do you think some black activists are just really afraid to look like a scary black person because making sure they appear non-threatening is what black people? Um, I don't think. Yes and no. I don't think it's because not being scary is what they have to do to survive in everyday life, because that's not helping the people on the ground survive. They're still getting killed anyway. No guns, hands up, whatever. They're still getting killed anyway. Not being scary, you're almost there. Not being scary is what they have to do to get appointed the manager of black people. As in, to get appointed to be Deray, the face of the cuck activism, you have to be non-threatening. If Deray was a rah-rah guy, he would not get appointed, and he wouldn't end up at the getting followed by Beyonce. He wouldn't end up being a guest at the Oscar Awards. He wouldn't end up in the Black Hollywood episode. Excuse me, the Black Hollywood issue of I think it was Variety. Like, let me show you guys. Like, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna give you an example of what he can't do if he's a scary guy. Bear with me a second, because I didn't have this ready. I'm only bringing it up because in response to your question, right? But Vanity Fair did in celebration of the Oscars. In celebration of the Oscars, Vanity Fair did something called. Damn it! Hold on. Vanity Fair did something called the Black Excellence Photo Shoot in celebration of the Oscars one year. And they couldn't. Just give me a second. If he is threatening, he's not getting this. This is not about. See, give him too much credit, because he moves in these circles where he's not worried about his survival. That's not. You give him too much credit. Like, they're not trying to be. They're not cucked. They're not cucked because that's what they have to do to survive. Because these people aren't in that part of Black life where they're fighting for survival. They're in the parts where they're striving to be in the top. Like can you see Deray in that corner there? Showed up with his blue vest. He wore a freaking tuxedo and put the blue vest over a tuxedo. Like, that's a super outfit. So, see, but this is the thing. And now this is a great thing. He said, "Oh, I wasn't talking about public figures and celebrities, just normal everyday people." Now that's the thing. I don't think the normal everyday people are the ones really doing all that cucktivism stuff. I think those normal everyday people, for the most part, are kind of with the shits right now. But I think the ones who hope to one day be in Deray's place or get on TV or whatever, I think those are the ones who are like that. So to the extent that they're normal everyday people, the normal everyday people who kind of want to use this for clout, and to get the clout, I think they have to be this way, because look at this guy. The first thing he does is run to the cameras, and this is a couple of years ago. I don't think they would be invited to this now. He's kind of what's it supposed? I mean, He's an activist, actorvist. He's an activist. So I mean, he's been acting all this time. He belongs in Hollywood. I mean, he's been more convincing in his acting job than a lot of these movie people. You know. So I guess that's his connection to Hollywood. I do think there are some people where that's really what it is. Like let me take it back, Jolie on 55. I think to some degree what you're saying is true, but those people who kind of do that cuck role because, you know, they don't want any more trouble, they've been beaten down, I have a little more sympathy for them, but those aren't the ones who are chasing the camera right after they do it, you know? So let me say that, Jolion, you're not totally wrong. Like, there are some people who do it for that reason, but those aren't the people who are this guy who's running chasing the camera. Those people will go home after and, you know, take care of the kids and whatever. So I take it back. You're not totally wrong, Jolion. I just that this guy is not falling into that. And whew, where were we? So going back to this thing, this guy is he's still at it. He has no proof that these are undercover cops, right? But I'm saying even if they're undercover cops, I don't care. If the end of the day is if you kill black people, she doesn't get destroyed. That should be the message. Let the undercover cop do it. I mean, so someone's gonna say, "Oh, if that happens, the block's gonna get hot." The block is hot anyway. That's how George Floyd died. Like, they haven't been giving people a break for having peaceful protests from 2014, 2016. It's still a police state. Like, but anyway, here he goes. He's still going. Now, hear what the guy said? The reporter even said, "Are you sure about that?" Front line. That's what I was saying. Front line. I was in the front line. That's what I was going to say. It's his moment of glory. Yeah, see, appointing himself the leader. That's what these people do. He's the leader. Now, if he's the leader, why is nobody following him? Why is everyone doing their own thing behind him? Think about it. It's like the girl I showed you yesterday, right? Where she was barking a bullhorn at people, and everyone was ignoring her. But she tweeted, we were leading the protest, and these white people, and it was 3 black people and 3 white people flipping over a car. These white people were hijacking. Black femmes got erased again by white people. And it was like, bitch, no one was even listening to you. You're just a crank with a bullhorn. You were not the leader. You know, no one thought he was a leader. No one's thinking this guy as the leader. You know, he's talking about himself like that. Look, they're on the background just moving along while he's in front of the camera. Who's we? What makes you the head of these protesters? You know, that's not a narrative that you're painting, you know, but the media will love. Someone said sound up. Let me see. Oh, no sound. Okay, you know what? Sorry, y'all. Let's do that again. My bad. Let's do that again. Let's try one more time. We're gonna start from the beginning because I was told there's no sound. So here's Fanny Kravitz asking, "Are you gonna go my way?" to the protesters who are basically fucking ignoring him.
Holding back the protesters at the Target. Why did you do that?
The reason why I held people back from Target is because the individuals that wanted to break an entry into Target in the first place were undercover detectives hired by the NYPD.
He has no proof of this. He just said that.
Are you sure of
They
that?
made it seem
And he said, "Are you sure of that?" Even the reporter said, "Are you sure of that?" And he just blows right past it.
as if that they were with the group, but they were not. And I was right there, front line.
It's the person front line, you know, like making themselves like everything, but he's at the front lines, making himself sound like he's a leader, and everyone is ignoring him behind him, doing their own thing. That's what these protests are like. I've been to them. People are just they're like a flash mob. There's no recognized leader.
With everybody else explaining to them that we are simply doing a peaceful protest. The cops are trying to...
Now who were you What's the memo that said this is a peaceful protest? Who were you to claim ownership and to dictate what the protest is?
Set us up right now, and they're currently following us as we walk down to the bridge.
What would you say to the protesters right now who are hurling projectiles at the police?
And this is a funny thing. The reporters giving credence to the narrative. Yeah, I think it's both. I think he is on that narcotic for sure, but I think he's high off clout. Why is the reporter even asking him? The reporter's just casually buying into the narrative on purpose, asking, "Why would you say like you're the leader?" Like, if I'm at the protest, this guy's there. I don't care what the fuck he has to say. Who is he that gotta listen to him?
I would tell him to stop. That is not the narrative we're painting for.
That's not the narrative we're painting. This is not your protest. This is the George Floyd protest, and everyone is there to express their pain in their own way. This is not about you, you fucking narcissist.
Our generation is different. We mean what we say, and we say what we mean. We want.
So now he throws in. First off, I don't even know how black this guy is, right? But now he's throwing in that little slick shit, that backhanded slick shit that a lot of these blurred activists, Afropunks like to do, because they really hate the black community. And you saw that with the Black Lives Matter thing. Remember the Black Lives Matter thing I said yesterday, where I went to the website and I read, without cherry picking, the mission statements and the about, and all of it was just shitting on the black community, like basically saying that the black community is fucked, and what we're doing is building a better, less embarrassing, less shameful, less hateful black community. Like, that's what these people do. They kind of, someone said lying go. Yeah, lying go. Yeah, fucking lying go here, you know. He's gonna say we're not, like, dude, you have the fucking Black Panthers walking around with guns, like doing shootouts with cops. Assata Shakur is still exiled. Like, you can't even fucking let a target go. You're gonna have the nerve. Like, Martin Luther King was willing to let himself die. He knew full well he was gonna die. Malcolm X knew that he was a marked man. He was gonna die. And you with your fucking Coachella chains and your fucking Gerber baby hair, or whatever fake Lenny Kravitz dude. You're gonna talk about our generation means what we say. What the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about? You're protecting a fucking target. You're a cucktivist. You're that cucked. Fucking audacity of this guy. And the media will search him out.
We want peace. We want unity. We want to feel.
So what does it mean? Does it mean the other generation didn't want peace and unity? Like what does that mean?
Safe again in our country.
Can I ask, why are you out here tonight? What is your message?
My message is to let America know that we're done being oppressed by racism.
We're done being oppressed, but we're too scared to let a target go.
No matter black, white, whatever the color may
Oh, and here he goes. He's all lives mattering. Nice wrong in the other races.
be. But today's story is the narrative of the African American man being oppressed, and that's why we're here.
Well, there
to
he
show
goes.
America that we're not afraid to fight back terrorism.
We're not afraid to fight back. You're afraid to bust up a target. How are you not afraid? I will give him credit. He did say African American man. I will give him that.
Racism and anything that oppresses us as brothers and women, because we are all Americans, and that's how we should stay and remain as one.
If this guy is caught rioting, or if he's part, or if that thing turned into a riot, he can't bring that up later as like, I was part of the movement on Barclays. You know, Barclays, Brooklyn. If it takes them to Target, he can't write that to clout. He's screwed. You know, like if Ferguson ended up being like Atlanta covered in fires, Deray would not be able to get the clout and the TFA awards for being part of the head of Ferguson. You know, he would have to do one of two things: either say he was there, but it was hijacked by other people, and who would he make those other people? You have to make it white people, because if you say that I was at Ferguson, but I wasn't the one. Like say Ferguson went and became like fires and bombs and whatever, right? And Deray wanted to use it to come up. He couldn't say, "Hey, I was the leader of black people and I made them do all that stuff, because then they'll just say, hey, so does that mean all the bombs and Molotov cocktails and stuff that black people did, you're behind too? So he'd be screwed that way. He wouldn't be able to use that as a come up. If he says, hey, a lot of black people were doing all that crazy stuff, but I wasn't down with it, then the white liberals and his handlers would say, oh, wait, so are you saying that you have no control over the black people there? Like you're not the leader of black people, or that black people aren't on the agenda that you're talking? So you're talking about this peaceful cuck type of stuff, but that's not what the rest of black people are on, and we can't rely on you to stop black people from being onto that. So that doesn't work. So what he would have to do is say, no, all the black people there were on my shit. They were on the shit that you want to hear. I can deliver you. I am the Negro Whisperer. I'm the Negro Whisperer. I can deliver you cucked black activists. I can deliver you neutered, toothless, castrated activists. I can divert the attention from and take the steam and take the teeth out of the stuff. And all that violent stuff, that's actually white people. That's what it is. It's not black people, because all black people listen to me. You know, again, in front of the ocean, waving my hands, pretending to bring in the tides. That's what they have to do. And I think that's what a lot of these people are doing when they keep saying it's undercover cops. It's white people. They don't want, they can't get a seat at the table when it's all said and done if the table's torn down. If the whole building that the table is in is torn down, how are they going to get a seat at it? You know, they can't get a seat at it. They can't get a seat at the table if the building is torn down and the table is crushed under rubble. So they want to make sure everything's still standing when it's said and done, because then their reward from the establishment isn't from keeping their feet on the establishment's neck. The reward that they're looking for the establishment is for containing and minimizing the damage from the unrest. And that's why a lot of these activists are telling these people not to show up anymore, you know, or they're telling them just to stick to your own places. And COVID's helping that, because COVID's not making it easy to so it's let's just gonna talk about some more stuff real quick. Yeah, but then that whole thing with the ancestors too was really really pretty terrible. And I'm gonna tell you this: some people, including some black people, were celebrating this, but when that white woman in the wheelchair blocked the looters from Target, and there was plenty of black looters there, you kept blaming on white people. Like she was letting a white looter pass by, but was stopping the black looters and messing her up and trying to stab them. And all the black people were throwing shit at her and stuff. Like, those weren't white people. Those are black people looting alongside white people. And what was funny is, because of the representation buttons and the microaggressions, people were like, oh, she let the white looter pass by, but not the black looter. And then all their microaggression and representation triggers were activated, and suddenly it was bad. First off, they were able to admit that there were black looters, A, and B, and plus it was everyone that's making fun of Karens now. Karens are an easy target, you know. So and B, you know, we can laugh at a Karen, and then C, it's a white person Karen telling us what to do. But I'm like, what these people did was the same thing as that white woman in the wheelchair, you know. They were stopping black people from exercising their rights and anointing themselves the protectors of capital and the managers of black people. Like that white woman in the wheelchair who was stopping the protesters, letting the white people pass by and stopping the looting. She was thinking of her job as a white person, that her birthright is to be the manager of black people and to protect capital. These people, even though they're black, they're doing the same thing as that white lady, but because that representation short circuits us sometimes. Sometimes when we see a black person doing something, we don't really know how to take it sometimes, and it just for a split second, especially if you're not used to shills and climbers, your brain doesn't know what to do right away, and that's the whole reason why the establishment. That's why the whole reason power hires these people, brings these people, because if he was white, they would have been like, get out of here, Corky. You know what I'm saying? They would have done her like they did that white woman. But because he's black or Afro Latina, or he's a fake Lenny Kravitz. He's not fully black, whatever he is, but he's blackish or whatever, or mixed-ish, whatever. He can kind of get away with it to a degree, and then stick at the cameras. If he was white, do you think he could stick at the cameras and not look like some kind of racist cop or narc? He wouldn't be able to do that, and that's they totally went upside her head, and they didn't go upside his, because when they kind of see him and the other black people, you kind of don't know what to do. Like, are you gonna beat up other black people to get in there, or you second guess things? And he also has the freedom to come around and talk shit after. So that's why these people are kind of necessary to the system. And someone said this, the comprador class, same mentality, which usually comes from where you are in the class. Yeah, so that's what they're trying to do. Everybody, if you're not a patron, we've had some great episodes. We have an episode coming up about Karens. One who's going to be free, one who's going to be paid. So go to patreon.com/champagne sharks. Definitely do that. Go to that, and also one more thing. Let me change that real quick. Let's put it big. Patreon.com/champagne sharks. Definitely do that. But also like, comment, share, subscribe. Go to Twitter, post this link, go to Facebook, share with your friends, text them, tell them to check it out. We're not going much longer. We're almost done, but yeah, like there was this guy setting fire to an auto zone and stuff, and all these black people stopped him, and he said he's an undercover cop, and a lot of people were tweeting it and spreading it like, see, the protesters weren't about this. And someone made a good point. It's like, first off, you know this guy's an undercover cop. There's a lot of misinformation, but also we have to be careful of rushing to spread the narrative and make it normative, the idea that property damage is bad. And the good protesters are the ones who are against property damage, and those good protesters are black. Like, do you really want the narrative to be that the black people are the least dangerous ones in a protest about Black lives? Like, is that what you really want out there? That black people are actually the safest, most compliant, not even to cops, but even to fucking buildings, billion-dollar organizations, like than white people? Like, what reason do they have to be afraid of you? And people saying, oh, if they think that we're doing this violence, it's gonna rain back in the community. I'm like, I'll tell you something right now. If they think that you're too afraid to do any violence, which they already do think, they'll rain the fuck down your community anyway, which is what they've been doing. Like you've done nothing but peaceful protests, die-ins, Deray type protests, and hands up, don't shoot, and it's done fucking nothing for you. It's done nothing. Just fucking hugs. Just fucking hugs. Like what hasn't rained? Like what if? Yeah, the whole having the narrative of black protesters being harmless. Why do you want them to be harmless? That's fucking creepy to me. It's weird. And the only reason these people want the protesters to be seen as harmless is because they want to be seen as the managers of the protesters who are rendering them harmless. And that's a service that these people are trying to sell. And it's somebody's on some funny stuff. We got people modded up, right? Because somebody's on some funny stuff. I'm sure y'all see who it is, but whoever's modded, just keep an eye. But yeah. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Got some more stuff real quick. Yeah, but that guy belongs nowhere near the front lines. Yeah. And this is what somebody said. Somebody said this about the guy when I tweeted. Somebody said, this, which is I find interested. They said, "This is the same dude I saw in that march I was at, asking pigs to kneel with us. This isn't it." So someone said that at a march he was at, that guy popped up again, asking people to kneel with them. So this guy he's trying to be a grown ass Devontae Hart, and Devontae Hart at least had an excuse. He had those two aggressive, abusive adopted mothers forcing him to do this stuff, and these people, there's like a lot of classism going on too. Like a lot of these people are embarrassed. They're embarrassed about this stuff. They don't want to be associated with these types. These like black brunch brute crowd, and they don't want to be with the brunch crowd or be with their white friends at work or be with their white allies and have to answer to these people. They'd be like, "Hey, Leroy, it looks like Black Lives Matter is not kind of losing the plot there, huh? What do you think about that, Leroy? If the white coworkers ask you like random questions, it's like, what do you think about those riots? Yeah, so I think it's kind of like, I think there's that aspect to it as well. So like, even if they're not trying to be designated community activists, they might just be people who get embarrassed. Those are the people, every time there's a arrest on TV, they're like, please don't let it be black. I don't want to, they're going to hurt the image of the race, Yeah, there's a lot of white people who kind of want to spread the narrative of cucked black people, especially there's a type like Jill Filipovic and some other people who they hate Bernie Bros. So and they love, and they're bootlickers to power as well. A lot of these white liberals, so they like the idea of Cucktivists, but they also like the idea that Bernie Bros, and because these people can't think of anything outside of just clout and representation stuff, like they'll say things along the lines of it. All these Bernie Bros are coming and taking away the attention from the black women and queers at the front line, and they think like that's what's important about who's getting camera time. And I understand why they think that way, because the black people they surround themselves are cloud obsessed, because they're cloud obsessed. They're white cloud obsessed people who hang out with black cloud obsessed people, and they project their own mindset on these people. So I think that's where a lot of the and I'm gonna talk about this one too. This is in there too. This is in there too. This is, thank you, Landrusville. This is in there about much liberals handing over at a police rally. They handed over someone to the police, like severe cucktivism, right? But I'm gonna show this guy real quick. This guy goes, and this guy's called Shimmy Cricket, and he's always on Twitter. He calls himself an activist, right? And he looks like the kind of guy that's brunch all day. Every Sunday he has a brunch boots, right? If you see his avatar, and he goes, the killing of black men by the cops never inspire riots and protests near the scale. Remember that when those dumbass black men are the only ones not loved or the only one's not loved unconditionally pops back up in about a month, right? So he's there talking about this stuff, and then a bunch of these other weirdos are agreeing with him. They're like, "Oh, you dropped this king," and they show a crown, and someone puts a raccoon, saying it's a raccoon, but other people said the Montgomery bus boycott was specifically centered around Black women and Black girls. People are arguing with the person, and he's just basically agreeing with the people who agree with him. So he brings up this thing. Goes, yeah, last year Tatiana Jefferson was shot through a bedroom window in Texas. Police released body cam footage, and the cop was indicted on murder charges. So he's kind of trying to give this as an example. There was not a protest, but the key word, indicted on murder charges. People protest when the person is not arrested. What he's basically doing is he's doing what white people do. White people will say, "Oh yeah, well, what about when he's black? Well, what about black on black crime? Or what about black on white crime?" Be so mad, and then you have to tell them, in all those black on black crime cases or black on white crime cases, the cops did not hesitate to throw the book at the person. That is like, the people aren't just protesting the crime; they're protesting that the person is impervious to punishment. So with Tatiana Jefferson, he undermined his own point by pointing out that she was indicted on murder charges. And the Breonna Taylor thing, as we said, there was no camera. Now, as usual, these people are saying what they say. I'm gonna see if I could. I'm gonna put something real quick, right? People saying the same thing. Sir, shake the damn table. It's all true. Breonna Taylor. So then I looked up. I said, let me just check on a whim. Sure enough, I checked his name. From his name, Breonna Taylor, not a peep. Did not say a single thing. So, and this has happened every single time. Every single time when these people have spoken, you check on what they're talking about Black women. They don't ever say anything about Black women. They don't mention Breonna. And if you search my mentions, I talk about Breonna Taylor a lot. A lot of the people who are arguing with him actually talk about Breonna Taylor, and not just in reference to making a point, just by herself, So it's so just more of the same cucktivism, but when I just want to show something real quick. Like when I asked them what, show me a tweet where you talk about Black women do this also activism. And he goes, "Oh, I don't tweet. I do it from the streets. I'm part of the ACLU Action Committee. I do it from the streets." I'm like, wait, so you have time to tweet when it comes to bashing Black men or undermining Black male protests, but when it's time to say anything to support Black women, which I've been on record supporting Black women, and when they die from the cops, suddenly you're too busy to tweet. Like get the fuck out of here. You have a platform. You can go viral. So, but again, this guy portrays himself as one of these slacktivists. He's one of those types who's like and they're basically the Black All Lives Matter. That's what they are. They're the All Lives Matter of Black people. They just don't talk about anything that happens to all these people until Black men get attention. Then they come in saying, "Well, what about this or what about that? Are you saying these people don't matter? Are you saying this doesn't matter?" Yeah, so it's pretty ridiculous stuff. He's like, "I'm on the board of directors for the ACLU of Ohio. I don't tweet about these things. I do actual work." So, so people are like, "Well, what's your fucking actual work?" And he goes, they said, "Name a time when an unarmed police killing or instance of police brutality of black women led to civil unrest. So I gave him a ton of examples, and then of course he didn't answer. He just smoke bombed, and that was it. Because he doesn't care about black women. He doesn't care about black men. He doesn't care about anything. All he cares about is headbats from white people. So I want to find one last thing. I want to find. Y'all see this? David Guetta. Y'all see this thing with David Guetta, the DJ? Terrible DJ. But he did this, and I want to break it up with a little bit of humor. Homeboy did this. And what's funny is what he's going to do now, well, I'll explain later.
The world is going through difficult times, and America too,
Here
actually.
we go. I have to talk over it because in case this thing ends up.
So last night,
Here we go. I got to talk over
I
this
knew
thing
we were going to do
because of copyright
this,
reasons.
and I made a
If I
special
don't talk,
record.
it's going to end up.
So this record is in honor of George Floyd.
Oh boy.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult.
Oh boy, what's he gonna do?
So, shout out to his family.
Shout out. All right, here we go.
So even though we face the difficulties of today,
That's right, he let it drop.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
The audience is the best.
I have a dream.
I have a dream. Oh yeah. There you go. Oh, there you go.
I have a dream that one day this nation will
Oh
rise.
yeah. She's doing the duck lip. She's doing the duck lip.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream.
Dude, just like his regular DJ, he knows none of the deep cuts. He's consistent because even when he does regular dance music, he always goes for the most obvious hit, and he never does a deep cut. So it makes sense. Like most white people, he only knows the most obvious Martin Luther King speech. Dude, that was somebody say ho. Oh man, yeah. Can't imagine being on ecstasy and having that shit hit. Oh my god, I would vomit. Dude, he had and you saw the white girl doing the duck face. You know, she's like, that was the best when the white girls doing the duck face. Like, I have a dream. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. That I should have been outraged, but that was just so comical. It was like you can't even do a parody show right now. This shit is too funny, man. Like I had to laugh at that one. I couldn't be too mad at that one. That like in principle, I was mad at it, but it was just so fucking stupid. I just could not. This was a funny one. Y'all see this one? Hold on. This is a good example of like the internet's fucking with people's brains. It's super basic. Yeah, the beat was basic. The like he couldn't even do a deep cut. He could have talked about. There's other Martin Luther King speeches out there. White people think Martin Luther King did one speech for 10 years. It's fucking shameful. Hold on, y'all see this one? Like you can tell this dude was on the internet too much. Look at this. This is what these trolls are like. Look. So they're showing protest signs, and this guy says some racist stuff. Now watch. He threw some slurs. Like they threw his hands up. Like this dude has been on 4chan too long. Like this dude was just like triggered much. So they get out the car, and he still thinks, and this is like what racist trolls are like, man. Racist trolls, like these people are probably the people that he probably hangs on 4chan with doing planning raids. So he thinks it's gonna be like a raid, like where you troll like a black person and all your friends jump in. And no, I didn't see the edits people made, but definitely the M to me. This talking shit with flip flops on, right? He thinks his boy's gonna help him out. He's like, in his mind right now, he's pushing the block button, like he's pushing the block button before he realizes, oh wait a minute, this is real life. Like he's like, oh, he's meant to be saying, oh, it triggered much, so much for the tolerant left. He's like smirking, thinks he's gonna troll like online, and then he realizes halfway through, oh shit, wait, this is actually real life. I can't hit the block button, I can't hide behind a sock puppet. Look, he put his hands up. Look, this one had no hands. Look, he's doing nothing. First off, he had flip-flops on. He didn't get off his bike. Like, I'm telling you, the internet's fucking with people's brains. People don't even understand how the real world works anymore. He just thought the guy was gonna sit there and just argue with him like the internet, and he could just troll, Please tell me about this, because I'm telling you, like, I grew up with some crazy white boys, but those guys are a little bit nuts. Like, I'm not used to these. I've never seen these types who just have so much privilege going on. Because I grew up with blue-collar white guys, so I think these privileged guys, they're used to things going their way or something. It was really weird. Both getting in the fights with the flip-flops and sitting on the... No, but it's not even in the movie this wouldn't happen. In the movie you get fucked up. It's not, he don't think he's in a movie. He thinks he's on the fucking internet. And his boys, they're like, I guess that these boys are gonna, because when you deal with those racist trolls, they all come right at you. Whether it's Stupid Paul, like those class reductionists, or whether it's the 4chaners, but they're all the same thing. They all come at you at once. Like, they're like a mob. I think he was kind of thinking that, but his friends are getting slumped too. Like they don't want it. Look, he's just backing up. He's like, no, we didn't agree to this.
Wait,
One punch. The guy got slumped. His boys didn't do shit. His boys. Yo, bro, what's going on, man? And there's been like multiple things like that. Like the guy that they were calling Hawkeye with the bow and arrow, who's shooting arrows at protesters. And dude, that was shameful. That dude did nothing but back up, and he didn't even try to throw like those flimsy arm punches. He did nothing but cop a plea. That dude was like 120 pounds. He was, I don't know where that bravery came from, but it wasn't just that he got slumped. It was just that he did nothing to breathe. I don't know why he thought. I think he just thought that white privilege was just gonna do the work for him. That was weird as fuck. I have no idea what to make out of that one. That was just really, really weird. I saw this thing too. That was pretty interesting. Variety posted this. It seems to be gone now. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Variety posted this thing today. "11 anti-racist accounts that are worth following." And I know this Meg Zukin person is. I looked at her. She's some kind of white liberal, like Karen type, right? But in the midst of all this, and they used to do this a lot during the George Zimmerman case, during the Trayvon Martin, during the Mike Brown, where they just keep showing things for allies to consume, So this is for white people to know who to follow. And I always hate these things. Like, I don't hate them out of jealousy, because I know they would never, ever in a million years put champagne sharks on one of those things. But also, I don't want to be on one of these things because these things are just terrible. Like, this is not the time to clout chase, but all the time. But if someone said none of the 11 were black men, so like 2 black men and 1 black woman were recently killed. I mean, a lot more were probably killed during that time, but the 3 biggest ones are Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd are the 3 most prominent right now. You could throw 1 black man in there, but they just put 11 black women. And there's this thing where they're trying to, I think a lot of white liberals right now are trying to send a signal out. They're like, look, when we kept all of y'all down with their foot on their neck, y'all were too united. And there were riots in Watts, Detroit, and Harlem, DC, all these places. When you put on all your necks indiscriminately, things were too united. And I made the likelihood of the comparison of this, where now it's like they're treating a seat at the table or the right to join the establishment is like the door of a nightclub. And when you have like somebody with you who's kind of corny, isn't when those girls go out and they have that one friend who's not pretty, and then the bouncer is like, yo, y'all can get in, but y'all friend can't get in. They can't. And then you get the choice, and some people will be like, yo, if all of us can't get in, we're not getting in. But some people are fucked up enough, they'll be like, oh, you understand, right, Susie? Well, see you later. Or they'll be like, well, they gotta bring her along. She fucks everything up. I feel like this is like white supremacy, like the liberals and the white supremacy. That's their new tactic, is promising like we'll promote you guys. Plus, you guys are women like us. We're oppressed as women. We'll let you guys in. Just don't let that guy in. And I feel like that's what a lot of this stuff is like now, where they're getting around looking racist by just promoting black women, but it also ties into the whole Cucktivist thing, right? What are all the pictures that they want to show? All the pictures that they want to show are devoid of a black male warrior class. It's not that different than how I was saying when I showed all those pictures that Darren Seals had, right? Yeah, these days I'm on every night. So I'm gonna do a daily vlog because the quarantine is driving me crazy, and all the stuff on the news is driving me crazy. So for now, yeah. Till we get to 1,000, I will stop. But yeah, like so all this stuff is like the same thing. Promote black women, take away the idea of a warrior class, and just have these. And this is also, I think, I don't want to call this cucktivism, because I think what these black women are doing does require a certain amount of bravery. But I do feel like they're trying to. Hey, I was just on Chapel. I can't complain. I was just on last week. I'm with Felix. It was a good episode. It's called This Is Sus. So I can't complain about the Chapel guys, and they just and then I just had Felix and Matt on, so they've been supportive. I cannot complain about those guys. Yeah, but yeah, Vanity Fair, and they did this the last time too. But they just kept all the time showing, here are some of these accounts that you need to follow, and it's always like it's people like Breen Newsom, Akilah Hughes, and it's just people that make white people comfortable, and stuff about self-care, really basic quotes, like this is like some Instagram influencer stuff. Let me show you, like this is one of the people, like this is some basic ass eat, pray, love type black activism. This isn't like, if you're not careful, newspapers will have you. Like, this is the most basic Malcolm X quote. Someone's a curator of protest vibes. Yeah, this is totally what it is. Like Instagram pages, social justice influencers. It was little poems. ethos club, an online social and wellness club, celebrating people of color. So it's all that type of stuff. And I feel like it's got to be enough for that. But that I think also kind of plays into the whole Cucktivist thing. They're just trying to push that to the forefront, like things that are not revolutionary, things that are just like lifestyle anti-racism. You know, it's all kind of gross to me. But this is the last thing we're going to talk about tonight, and then move on. Here's an example, and I saw this on a black person's page. I didn't see this from anyone else's page, but I thought it was a good example of what we're talking about, right? But take a look at this. This was in Atlanta. This was in Atlanta. I saw this picture, and I thought it was pretty good, but you didn't really see it that much. But I'm gonna show you some things. Like so you see this one. It's a black guy thrashing on a skateboard. It's a black guy thrashing on a skateboard in front of rubble and destruction in Atlanta. And these are the pictures that people are not really showing that much in the mainstream media. This is not the kind of stuff that fits that Cucktivist narrative. A lot of these black people who are like, it's not us doing the bad stuff. It's the white people. They don't want to promote this. The white liberals aren't promoting it. One thing I found interesting is the guy I found on some black guy's page. The guy who did it, he's a credit for it on Twitter. He said, someone said, I don't know who this nigga was, but he was getting it in. This guy, Pretty Reef, said, I'm the nigga who was getting it in, and he has his page. Nobody's chasing him down for interviews. No one's checking what he's doing. So yeah, I found that interesting. Like there's one. Hold on. I'm gonna talk about one last thing, and then I'm gonna show some interviews by this is a girl that we follow. He said Trey Flip. My bad. This is a cool person. We're mutual followers on Twitter. I'm not trying to shit on this person, but I kind of didn't like what she was doing here. She was doing it. This girl, Angela Nissel, who's usually pretty good, but I didn't like this. She wrote, somebody tweeted, people breaking windows out of restaurants on 7th in Eugene. People who were there leading chants later screaming at them to stop. So basically, this is white people destroying stuff, and the black people are begging them to stop, right? And they're like, no, stop, please, don't do it. So like this black girl screaming at everyone to stop, right? And Angela Nissel quote tweets it with, wow, look at all the black people begging them to stop. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's embarrassing. Like why aren't these people like ramping up more on your protest than you, right? So I was like, I thought she was saying that, but then she continues, can you imagine being out there in pain, literally to be heard? Protesting for your life, and some skateboarding suburban punks do this, probably while chanting Black Lives Matter. Anyone know any good media folks putting all these fake protests on blast? Can y'all tag some shit? And I was like, that turned me off. I was like, these people are coming here to plead their pain, and then these people are messing up their chance to be heard by breaking stuff. And I'm like, how are y'all still thinking along the lines of let's be heard, you know? That's just so weird to me, you know? And it's like, yeah, this is what I'm saying. They're on camera. Let them get arrested. Let them do it. Even better, let them break everything. They're on camera doing it. We have plausible deniability. The damage to Capitol still gets done. Let them be the bad cop to your good cop. Be like, yo, you either deal with us. Like, even if you want to be peaceful, say you either deal with us who want to be peaceful, or you deal with these crazy people who want to break everything, and they're your people. You know, like even if like white people weaponize us all the time, just weaponize them. You know, like, but you're more mad that you're not getting a chance to be heard, that you're not being allowed to be the center of the protest and plead your pain, so you can be like one of these. That's corny to me. Like that shit to me is done. And the last thing I'm gonna, so she made like a whole long thread about that, and I just didn't like that. I'm tired of hearing about that. I'm tired of hearing people just trying to reinforce to everyone just how cucked the activism is. Because first off, it's not true. But even in the cases where it is true. Oh, I forgot one thing I was supposed to say before we were done. I actually forgot about this. I was supposed to put this up. Somebody brought this up. It was on my list of things to talk about. This is the worst cucktivism yet. The worst cucktivism, and I can't stop without. Somebody already brought this up today. It was on my list of things to bring up today. But y'all have to see this. This is the most cuck part. Hold on. We're gonna get it up real quick. Luckily, I don't think there were any black people in this particular cucktivism, because I've been trying to show white and black cucktivism, and this was, I think, white cucktivism, and I don't think the person whose page I saw it on, unfortunately, has a lot of tweets, so I have to go through them, see if I could find. Also, if anyone who's is in New York, I was interviewed on New York One today, so I haven't looked to see if it came on, but I got friends in you. Oh, here we go. Right? Somebody in DC, I found it. Y'all get to see this. This is the worst cuck thing I've seen. Hold on. And a lot of people were praising this. But here's a caption. Take his ass. Rioter causing damage is detained and handed over to police by peaceful protesters in DC. So this guy is breaking the thing. Oh no, I was wrong. There are some black activists in this. This girl here freaking out is unfortunately black. Right, so people are pointing at him, whatever. What is he doing in this protest? He's breaking something. But look at this. Oh wait, oh my God, I was wrong. These are black. Damn it. This is the worst L. I was wrong. We took the worst L. They're actually saying, get the white people, get the white people. So black people are saying, get the white people. They're going too far. Oh, this is cringe. Damn. Okay. That sucked. Yeah, we're supposed to just sing a spiritual and vote in November. Yeah, they'd rather be twerking, hugging, and breakdancing. Yeah, doing the Owe dance like earlier. So you know what? I missed that there were not only mostly black, but they're saying get the white people. The white people are ruining everything. Oh, damn it. Look. Get the fucking white people. Get the white people. Some white people did end up joining. Oh, look. So it's bad if they got him to stop. Look what they do. They deliver him. Look, they drag him, kicking and screaming, to the cops. Then clap. Take. But look, this is the funniest part. This is the funniest part of this cuck shit. This is the funniest part of this cuck shit, right? Oh my God. Damn, I was hoping these were like white knights. This is the funniest part. The black people that are bringing them over, the cops are trying to grab them too. First off, let's start from the beginning. Why were the cops just sitting there watching? The cops didn't even seem to care. They were letting. This is what I'm saying is good about these people is that with the white privilege, you get away with a lot of stuff. The cops were letting him there, but then when the black people brought him over, they started trying to grab the black people, maybe for bothering him, but they had to tell him, no, not us. Like, look. White people, get the white people, get the white guy. Get the fucking white man. He's gonna fuck it up for the rest of us. We're cut. Watch. Took away his stuff. You know, we're good Negroes. But this is the funny part. The funny part was that the cops were right there. What were they doing there? They didn't just show up. They were chilling. Like that's the weirdest part to me. Right? That's fucking the weirdest part. Right? Yeah. No. This is the thing. These people don't care that he's an interloper. They just don't want. Even if it was black, like the one at Target, it was black people breaking stuff. These people they're doing that aggressive passivity. They don't want just anything bad to happen. People make up the interloper stuff just as an excuse because then it makes them sound better. They're saying, "Oh, we were trying to root out cops and false flags." It's not really about that. They're just afraid. They want to bark, but they're afraid to bite. That's the problem, right? So then this is the funny part because look what happens. The cops are just trying to grab even the black people. They can't even make sense out of it. Look. Take his ass. Take his ass. No, not him too. They're like grabbing the black people too. Yeah, like that's my man. Don't take him. You know. Look, and look at it pick up. Look at it pick up the black guy like a puppy, and peel him off like this black narc that took them over. Look, he's picking him out like a puppy by the scruff of the neck, and they're begging. No. That's my man. He's one of the good ones. Like they don't even respect you for this. They're not even thankful for this. You know, I bet you deep down they respect the white guy you brought over more than they respect you. That's the worst part. They probably respect. I wouldn't be surprised if they just let him go. I would not be surprised if they even let him go. They weren't trying to stop him. They didn't care. Like, why? What are you protesting? What are you there for? If this is what you're doing, you know, that you're narking people out to the cops. Shameful. Look, are the cops grateful at all? Cops probably beat them up later anyway. Someone said, "Can I get a picture?"
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get
These two just ask for a picture. Yeah, they're taking a picture with the fucking cop. They're taking a hands up picture. Wait, now this guy, I think, is one of like the people who's about the rah-rah shit. So he's taking the names down of the cops and taking down their names and everything. Like he probably views that guy breaking shit as his peer in protest, and he's there to do the real shit. But what's the black guy doing? So this is crazy. This guy shows up, and I think he's there to kind of say, you know, stick up for his friend, or maybe stick up for just a guy doing real shit that just got yoked up. But the rest of them are trying to take pictures. The black dudes.
That's what I'm saying.
So look, they're trying to do hands up and take pictures. Well, this guy here is taking down names and worried about. This guy is showing up for some black bloc shit. Like everything is covered up and whatever. He's showing up for some black bloc shit, and the black people showed up for a Negro spiritual or just to be seen or take pictures. It's I don't know. Yeah, respectable rioters. That was the most shameful display I have ever seen. And yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, and I think it's all shit. You're totally right. Antifa Master Chief, indeed. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's keeping their spirits well. And we're gonna keep doing these every day till we get 1,000 followers. This is like a marathon that we're doing. We're trying to get 1,000 followers, gonna unlock stuff. And also I'm going crazy from quarantine, so it definitely helps. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I appreciate y'all coming out. Share it, like, comment, subscribe. We've had up to 100 people here. So how many likes do we have? We had up to about 100 people at one point, and we have 65 likes. It's not bad. We can still get more, you know. But yeah, that DC group took a super L. That's some fucking shameful shit. That's terrible. Go to like, comment, share, subscribe. That's the most important thing. I know some people, $5 does not sound like a lot, but in these times of underemployment, unemployment, COVID-19, and all that stuff, I know even $5, some people can't swing that now, and I get it. That's another reason why we try and do a lot of extra free content and stuff, you know. But sharing is free, liking is free. Always share. That is as important as anything, you know. Share the show, share the YouTube channel, share the podcast with your friends. That's always appreciated, you know. But you know, if you can't swing it, then by all means, go to patreon.com/champagne sharks for $5 a month. You get double the episodes, backlog of, like, at this point, almost 200 back episodes. You get a lot of stuff for your $5. Newsletter, show notes, a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, everybody, thanks. Take care. Everyone be good. See y'all tomorrow. Yeah, sharing is praxis. Yeah, for real. Be good, y'all. Bye.